It's Bronwyn Billington here, also known as the Dynamite Doll, and you're watching one of my favorite YouTubers and podcasters, Wom Breezy. Stay dynamite.
So you've just heard it from Bronwyn Billington there, the lovely Dynamite Doll, who I have been very fortunate to have had on the podcast this year. So this episode is going to be talking about all of my guests, well, most of them, some of my favourite guests in 2024. I've been very fortunate to have had so many great guests. I want to tell you like a little bit of a story on each guest and how they've impacted me and reasons why I've had them on and so and so. So we'll start off with the beginning of the year when I started my journey podcasting in 2024. I reached out to a member of the Anawai Fatu family, Mr. Ellis Smooth Lloyd Anawai. Now, Lloyd is a very special guest of mine because I pretty much I'm going to say without him, there would be no One Breezy, as in me myself starting the podcasting business. I said to myself I was going to give it a year to try and build a brand, build a audience, build everything. And Lloyd gave me that chance. I had an amazing chat for an hour talking to him. I reached out to him on Facebook. You know, we started talking back and forth, and I told him the idea what I wanted to do, and he helped me out. So I will forever be grateful for Lloyd on a way for taking that chance and helping me kickstart my journey, because I was always very negative at first, not wanting to do it, but seeing how I am now and where I am now and the guests that I've had on, I've been very grateful. Honestly, I'm really happy. And the next guest I'm going to go on to is Mr. Lance Anawai. Lance is another very special one because in the space of 2.5 months, January and February, I had 3 members of the Anawai Fatu family on. I had Lance and I had Lloyd, and then the next guest, I love him to bits, but we'll speak about him separately. Lance, amazing guest, one of a kind. Reached him out on Twitter. You know, he's known as X, and we started talking back and forth. You know, hit him up, did the interview with him, podcast, and to think where he is now in signed to WWE, that man deserves it. One hell of a talent. Couldn't think of anyone who deserves it more than him. So I'm very thankful to have had Lance on. The next guest, and this one, I don't know how I pulled it off. Some people say I'm very lucky. Mr. Jacob Fatu, the Samoan werewolf. I am very happy to have had that guest on in 2024. One of my most popular guests that I've had on. I signed in, no, I didn't sign him. I had him on right just before he left MLW. And then I had 1.5, 2 months later, he signed for WWE. Man, I've got nothing but great things to say about Jacob. Very humbled, great guest, one of a kind. I'm just such a huge fan of him. I'm such a huge fan of the Anawai Fatu family. I live and I breathe them. I've got the rocks caught on my rib, just in case anyone didn't know. But the fact that I've had him on means so much to me, and I'm very grateful for Jacob for coming on my podcast on it. I couldn't think of anyone better to have had on than him. As he said, the right place at the right time. He said after the podcast, he says he sees a little bit of me in him. And I was like, really? Whoa. But I'm very happy for that one. And now we'll just start rolling through the guests. I've had Black Dahlia Paige Collette. She is a character. I love Paige. She is very inspirational. CPRS, very, very very amazing person. Inspirational. The story that she's got to tell and the awareness that she's bringing to CPRS is amazing. When I had her on the podcast, she was just so funny, very funny. Nothing but great things to say about her. Down to earth, and she is also best friends with someone who I'm going to talk about now. I'm very grateful for this one because being from Britain, You know, you got the Dynamite Kid, and I'm very fortunate to have Miss Bronwyn Billington that you saw at the beginning of the episode that kindly did an intro for me. Bronwyn is such an incredible person. You know, I reached out to her, I want to say last year, or beginning of the year, she went doing podcasts. But then she saw that I did a podcast with Tara Zepp. And Bronwyn watched the whole episode, as she would say, doing her makeup, getting changed. She watched the full episode and she loved it. She even commented on it. And I love that. And me and Bronwyn, I won't say we talk, but Bronwyn is, heart of gold. Dynamite Kid's daughter. Nothing but great things to say about her. I would definitely have her on again in 2025 in a heartbeat. I love Bronwyn. She has a heart of gold. Such a rich history for the business. Her family is royalty in my eyes. But yeah, Bronwyn's amazing. Paige is amazing. All my guests that I'm going through now are amazing. I've had so many on. My next guest, Miss Gabby Ortiz. Amazing. Great guest. I can't say anything bad about her. We spoke about coming to the UK. She's been to the UK. In the podcast that we did, she put on a British accent. She goes, "I love it here. Oh, I love it." On trying to mimic on what we say, but it was quite a very good British accent, to be honest. But yeah, Gabby's another amazing person. Been very fortunate with every guest that I've had this year. Every guest. Gary's just another one. Heart of gold, nice person. Now this one's very interesting. I've had Nahir Robles. I think I said that right. Sorry if I said that wrong. Pronunciation for wrestlers' names sometimes can be a bit tricky. Friends with Nahir on Facebook and speak every so often, once in a blue moon sometimes. She actually helped me when I went on my Caribbean cruise this year. She told me some places to go, told me what to do. And then I had the podcaster with her. Amazing. We talk about training with Santana, you know, the history of Puerto Rico. Because anyone who knows me, I love Puerto Rico. It's one of my favorite places. But yeah, 2025 is going to be a good year for her. Muscleman Malcolm. See, Muscleman Malcolm, I reached out to him. It wasn't the right time, to do a podcast. And then he had stuff going on. And then a few weeks later, I hit him back up and we did a podcast. And he and some other people who I'm going to be going through on this episode are like inspirations of mine. They're reasons why I'm doing this. I love his content. I think he's such a sound guy. Great mind for the business. Great content creator. Just all-around guy. Good mic work, Greg. See, me and Greg speak every so often. My Canadian friend, I would say. Greg is another. He's been doing this for like 10 to 12, 15 years. His work is amazing. Great guy. Just the conversations that I have behind, not just on when I'm recording with them, but behind the camera as well, is truly inspirational. And the fact that I get to do this and speak to so many people in 2024, like Greg, like Nahir, like Gabby Ortiz, Bronwyn Billington, just to name a few, is so amazing. And I'm really grateful for every single one of these people. So every single people who I'm shouting out and talking about is just so amazing. I actually got contact with Greg through Tom Talks Rubbish. Tom's another great guy that I've had on this year. Great content creator. This next guest is one of my favourite British female wrestlers. It is Miss Lizzie Evo. Personally, I don't think Lizzie gets the credit she deserves. I think she is one, if not the best, women's wrestler in the UK right now, along with Nina Samuels and other little women's wrestlers in the UK. One of the best. I reached out to Lizzie. Lizzie's a very busy person. So the fact that I got to interview her is amazing. She's a Liverpool supporter, and I'm a Liverpool supporter. I'm sure she's sad that Jurgen Klopp left, but Onslaught is doing an incredible job. Lizzie is an incredible performer, incredible person, down to earth, got the time out of her busy schedule to record with me. One of my favourites, and I'll say that 2025 is going to be a good year for you. See, this one's a very good one because I had Vince Russo. What I love about this one is Vince is a very genius for the business. He's done so much with TNA, WCW, WWF, WWE now, done so much. And what I also like about him, he says it how it is. And half the people don't like it, but sometimes in this day and age, if you say it how it is, you're not going to be everyone's favourite cup of tea. Do you know what I mean? But the fact that he says it how it is, and it's, yeah, not many people like him. People do like him, but yeah, what he's done for the business, the Attitude Era, and where it is now, I love it. I loved it because everything that I said to Vince in that episode, he came back and it's facts, talking. He just says it how it is, and you can't fault him for that. That's what you want in a person who you're having on the podcast. Now, this next one of my friends, we'll call it in the IWC, Miss Jazz Marie. Jazz Marie is an interesting one. I won't say interesting, but she's a very lovely person, down to earth. We speak the odd time. Do you know what I mean? I've had her on the podcast twice. Amazing. Just, she's so funny. Her content, what she's done about Liv, Dom, and Rhea Ripley this year, and the Judgment Day has been phenomenal. She has a YouTube channel, great content creator. Her posts are funny. I'm very fortunate to have come across her this year, and I'd like to call her a friend from across the pond. So I'll definitely have her on the podcast going into 2025, which that'll be a good year for her as well. So Jazz Marie is an amazing person. This is another person that I had, and I wanted to do like a little series, the top 5 pillars. The first one that I had was Minnie Portable. Minnie is, what makes Minnie special is her reactions. She says it how it is, and her live streams. She's just so amazing. The reactions that she does, and it's like genuine. She's such a huge fan of Kurt Angle. Do you know what I mean? She gets very passionate. She don't, when people are talking, you know, on the chats, and someone says something, she gets very angry, but she don't mean it. She's a good person. Do you know what I mean? And she was one of the top 5 pillars. There's Santi, Wheezy, Mr. Tesh, Conman, and her, I would say. And to be honest, I've had 3 there. She was the first one. And then reached out to her on Twitter. She follows me. I'm very grateful because when you get followers from your people that you look up to, it's kind of cool. We've also got Mr. I've nicked this photo from him. He'll probably kill me. But Mr. Tesh. Mr. Tesh is an amazing human. Sound guy. I've had him on the podcast. I'm going to be hoping working with him in 2025. Yeah, nothing but great things to say about that one. A little cool story. Mr. Tesh followed me just randomly and then dropped me a message. And then bits and bobs, you know, backwards talking. And then he helped me. He's helped me so much, and I don't think he realizes that. I look up to him. He has helped me so much, whether that's how you write a description or how to do a thumbnail or how to do this, how to do that. Every information that guy has given me, I've taken on board, and I think I'm getting slowly better. He's one of the reasons why I want to do this, keep doing it. But yeah, great guy. And he's British. He's a good guy. Nothing but great things to say about Mr. Tesh. Love him to bits. What a great guy. My next guest I have had on twice. She's known as La Princesa, Miss Tiffany Nieves. Amazing guest. Tiffany is very, very funny. A very hard worker. Stand out in OVW, stand out in NWA, killing it right now. recently had a steel cage match with Natalie Malkova. Yeah, Tiffany, every time I've had her on, she's had a championship. She's in character, do you know what I mean? She doesn't like it when I try and pronounce La Princesa and got it, bueno wrong. She doesn't like it, but all in all, Tiffany is a sweet person. She's nice. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes I've had guests that you just connect to. I feel like I connect with Tiffany on a level like it's just the conversation just flows, and that's what you want. Great guest to have had. 2025. She says she wants to do it in person, so hopefully, Tiffany, get yourself over to the UK and we'll do it in person. Because I don't want to do it virtual. I want to do it in person. So we will do that. And the next guest that I had, this one was really interesting because I didn't think I'd pull this one off. wheezyblonde. Wheezy is a very, very incredible person. Again, I can't have anything bad to say about any of my guests. Wheezy is amazing, kind, very easy to talk to, great content creator. She doesn't get, in my eyes, she's a very hard worker. Where she is now, she's just recently working with WWE. Her reactions, how emotional she gets, and how you can relate to some stuff. She was the third pillar that I got. I reached out to her on Twitter, said it how it is. Hi, I'm Jordan. Well, one breezy. This, and this. This is my aim. The 3 pillars. Well, the 5 pillars. I want to get you. This is a link to my work. Blah, blah, blah. You've got to be straight to the point, and that's what I was with Wheezy. And then I got a response, and I was like, bang. Do you know what I mean? That is one episode I'm very grateful for. Very, very grateful for. Another guest I have had on is Xena from Stardom. See, this was very good. I had Xena from Stardom, Australian. Do you know what I liked about this one? I did it in my garden. She did it in a hotel room. You know, the conversation backwards and forth flowed. Talked about Australia, talked about Stardom, talked about Mina Shirakawa, talked about loads of stuff, and we had a banter. It just flown. We had to reschedule because she was actually at a show when we should have originally done the podcast. But that's funny. We did it in the end, and I'm very grateful for that. Great guest. 2025 is going to be a great year for her. I've had quite a lot of wrestlers from Puerto Rico, Australia, Canada, Japan. I've had a lot. And do you know what is very challenging sometimes when you're doing it for the time zones? So it's like I've got a guest tomorrow, Vegas, and I'm in the UK, so it's like 8 hours difference. But another guest that I've had is Shazza McKenzie. Shazza McKenzie is an amazing guest. Do you know what I mean? This is a funny one as well because Shazza tells a story. We was booked in for a podcast in June, I want to call it. Reached out to her and spoke to her all year, pretty much. And a podcast scheduled for June didn't happen. I think we both forgot, but she had it in her diary. She just put podcast, and she sent a tweet out saying, "I've got a podcast, but I don't know who with." So then I text saying, did a tweet saying, "Oh, it should have been with me." Blah blah blah. So then, we DM'd Shazza and then started back and forth talking, and then we scheduled it. We did it. She is one hell of a funny person. Great performer. She's nothing but great things to say about her. Great performer, kind. Do you know what I mean? The conversation, what you want is you want the conversations to flow. And it flows. And what I love is I'm off to Australia in February. And I've had 3 Australian guests so far this year. And, it's going to be an interesting 2025 because I'm going to be getting more Australian guests on. And I cannot wait. But yeah, Shazza is an amazing guest. All around good performer. Conversation flows. Don't get the credit that she deserves. Now, this next one, I have Reality of Wrestling Carolina Teague. Carolina, such a sweetheart. Honestly, such a sweetheart. She is an amazing guest that I've had on. We did the interview and she was ill, but she still did it. She still did the interview for 5 minutes to an hour. And I respect that. I mean, she was feeling very under the weather. We spoke about Booker T, Shawn Michaels, reality wrestling, so much. And she's trying to do me a favor. So let's see if it happens in 2025. If this happens, I'll be really grateful. So grateful. And I think when you do the podcast business, it's like, it's not what you know, it's who you know, or it's who you had on, their contacts, their connections, stuff like that. It helps. But yeah. Now, one of my final guests. There's a little story to this. I have the main one himself, Mr. Zilla Fatu. I am such a huge fan of Zilla's. I was a fan of his dad back in the day, Umaga. Rest in peace. I loved him to bits. Zilla has had an incredible year, whether that was from teaming with Jacob, GCW, reality wrestling, to becoming the House of Glory Crown Jewel champion, to becoming the reality wrestling world champion. Amazing guest. The stories that I found out about that guy, amazing. We did a podcast originally in March, May. But yeah, the signal and everyone was bad. So then we rescheduled it and sorted everything out for, I want to say, August. Yeah, we did it. Amazing. And I look back and the fact that I can say that I have had 4 members of the Anawaii Fatu family this year is incredible. And the fact that I've had some of my favorite performers and content creators on this year is incredible. The plan going into 2025 is of people from Australia to have some of my favorites on the podcast. I want to finish my top 5 Mount Rushmore of content creators, streaming the pillars, I like to call it. I want to finish that. I want to get Charlie Evans on. I want to get Jasmine Sinclair on. I want to get RVD on. I want to get Eric Bischoff on. That's just a few people to name. Conman, Santi, Chris Van Vliet, NYC Demon Diva. I want them on. That is the plan for 2025. All being well, we'll do another one of these next year. So far this year, I've had 70 guests. Big 70. Come next year, I want to make it 120, if not more. I hope you will like this video. If you do, please hit the subscribe button. Like, comment, and share. And comment who you want me to see. Who you want to see on the One Breezy podcast going into 2025. Or who you want to see return. Other than that, I've enjoyed this episode. Take care. Have a good new year.